Hi, my name is Karina Akido. I'm the managing editor of Canadian Auto Dealer. I'm here with Perry and Mazen from Mercedes-Benz Downtown Calgary, which has been acknowledged by National Pre-Owned for the incredible performance that they have achieved. Now, there's a lot to this, so I'm going to pass it on to Perry. And Perry, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what exactly this means and how your dealership was able to achieve this.
Well, basically, Mercedes-Benz had a high water mark of a record set at 130 CPO units in a given month, and that was a all-time record. With the opportunity and the performance that we had at the dealership, we were able to beat that by 212% to 260 vehicles from 130 prior, 262. And we basically took the high water mark that had been a record and more than doubled it, which was a combination of all the team working together to achieve exceptional results in a very tough time. Going through the COVID situation, we just looked at it as a management team of what can we do to come out of this at the other end in good shape. So whether it was imaging our service facility, improving the lighting, making everything just tip-top shape in every possible area of the business, that was our goal. And we exceeded our expectation in all departments, but especially in CPO, where we basically had the opportunity of getting the inventory, which is generally a problem, getting the right supply or getting a supply to sustain us. But we had just opened on March the 9th, we had just opened a brand new certified pre-owned dedicated facility. And basically we had all this pent up energy to take this new facility and push it over the top to be a world-class facility for CPO and really set a whole new precedent in Canada. And then basically on the 12th of March, as you know, things started going haywire. COVID was shutting things down, and here we are 3 days into opening something up. And you know, a lot of guys would have been self-defeated and said, we can't do it. And we as a management team, we were sitting down on a daily basis then and strategizing almost every day, how can we maneuver, how can we do it as a team, where can we see an opportunity? And basically, then we had the opportunity to go after the car-to-go cars that had been available to get the supply. And we just decided we're going to break whatever record we can. And to quote my brother, we probably have 6 months worth of cars, but what the heck, let's see what we could do. And 6 months of cars ended up being 3 weeks of cars. And Mazen can go further on that, but it was just a matter of, you know, in my career, it's always been doing the best you can with what you've got. And here was another example of going above and beyond and doing an amazing job that even we are astounded by our level of success. But we definitely had all our ducks in a row to do what we had to do. And we had the team in place to do what we had to do.
Congratulations again. And Mazen, maybe you can tell us a little bit about more about this, including the strategy, more about the strategy that was involved in reaching this performance.
Basically, what happened is at the end of last year, the first car-to-goes became available, and we saw an opportunity with that, and we sold those vehicles quite quickly. And we had a great certified program that was available at that time to help put those vehicles through on that, and we noticed that there was quite a need for them, but there was a limited supply of those vehicles. Those particular ones were 2018 models. We were aware of the fact that there was more to be had later on. We just didn't know when they were going to become available. Of course, they became available during the COVID times, and so it was a pretty courageous and bold move to really go down that path of saying, well, we're going to go ahead and acquire all of these vehicles because we saw the success with them before, but doing it in a time where the certified program that we had at that time was not as good of an offer to the consumer, but at the same time, it was the times that we were in were definitely concerning. You know, it felt like everything was coming down to an end. You know, I'm very fortunate to be a part of the management team that we're in, and we've got a fantastic management team, and you know, Stephen and Perry were definitely have enough confidence in our management team and there was enough courage to make the investment of what we had to make, which was purchasing over 300 vehicles in a time where everyone was forecasting that they weren't going to sell one. So everybody had a different perspective in terms of how long it was going to take to sell these vehicles. There was two ends of the spectrum, and between myself and Justin and Stephen and Perry, we'd sit there and chat about it every day and discuss and strategize how we were going to do it. And one end of the spectrum, was that it was going to take 6 months, and Stephen made a comment saying, "Well, hopefully we'll have them all sold before the next snowfall." And on the other end, I felt that we were going to sell them quite quickly because I always looked at it as us being able to sell them nationally because we had such a large supply. And Canada, although it's a large country, the market is not that massive. So it's through today's the world is a smaller place today, of course, because everybody operates online, and for that reason, we were able to actually market these vehicles from coast to coast. What was really beneficial to us was before this entire pandemic took place, we had adapted many years ago our business to being a highly focused online business. By the time you arrived at our showroom, you'd already felt that you had been through our showroom at some point in terms of how we interacted with you online, our way our website is set up, and how we market it. Another thing where we went in the opposite direction of where the market was going. The market was most dealers were pulling back from online advertising. Most dealers were pulling out of advertising completely, really shutting that down during that time. And we went the opposite direction. We actually made a heavier investment into online marketing, and as a result, we were able to reach the customers from coast to coast because we knew that we had an offer that was unprecedented.
Where did you focus your online investments exactly, and what did you see as a result?
Through pretty much the same mediums that we did before COVID had hit. I think what made us more visible in that time is because a lot of people pulled back. So because we pushed further, going through the same mediums that we're in to begin with, and everybody else pulled back, we really stood out. We stood a lot taller at that time. So we had hoped that in some scenario that if we were going to go the opposite direction and we were going to go against the grain of what the market was doing, that we were going to stand out. And if there was only going to be a small population remaining during those times of people that were actually still in the market and had a need for a vehicle, if we were the ones that stood out above and beyond everybody else, we were going to be able to capitalize on almost that entire market.
So just to narrow in a bit, because I'm interested in the online aspect. I mean, this has really worked for you on top of all the other investments that you've done. Are we talking about more on the website? Are we talking about third parties? Like, what are you able to share?
Well, on the website, investing on SEO, investing on the different types of sites that we go through in terms of boosting your paid listings and such, so that you are right there at everyone's, right in front of everybody's eyes right when they log on to that. So people probably had a much lower attention span for online during that time. So we knew that we had to be visible as quickly as possible. So people had a much lower attention span because of the fact that a lot of people were at home much longer every single day, spending more time on the internet. So I think their focus was very short.
Lower attack.
Well, and actually, so one of the things that we, as a result of us actually investing so much and being so visible online and through Google searches and such, we ended up on a website called Red Flag Deals, and we weren't really familiar with that website, but it's independent bloggers that make a post, and we ended up getting to the second highest spot for any commodity in the country during the pandemic in terms of the offer that we had, particularly on the 2020 GLAs that we purchased that were brand new. They had never been driven. They were never used. They were still wrapped in plastic. That cargo never ended up actually roading at that time. So we enhanced those vehicles one step further by adding a certified pre-owned warranty to them, which we were able to do so because of the fact that even though they were new vehicles and never been registered before. They were originally sold to Car2Go, so we were able to add a certified warranty to them, so people got a larger warranty on them than what they would have got for buying a brand new one out of our showroom otherwise. And that ended up taking the second highest spot. I think we were just behind a set of earbuds, which was pretty incredible that we were selling a vehicle like that at that price point. And at that price point, which we were at 34.9, we had a really large market we catered to, a market that we had never seen before as a Mercedes-Benz dealer. At 34.9, selling a vehicle that was a brand new vehicle with a larger warranty than most people are getting for a Toyota or a Honda product of a similar price point or greater. We were offering more feature content, more warranty, and with a luxury brand label. So it was a truly incredible offer. I think there was a lot of people in the marketplace at that time that were looking for the COVID deal. They were looking for, okay, I want to be a smart buyer in these times. Something's fallen at somewhere, and I'm going to be able to pick up the pieces because I've got a bit of capital. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, okay, I'm a little bit more liquid than the next guy. I'm going to go ahead and pick up that great deal. And that truly was an incredible deal, because the vehicle, by the time you factor in all the extras that you got, including the added warranty, it's a $50,000 car. You're purchasing it for $35,000. It's a brand new car wrapped in plastic. That is an incredible offer. There's nothing out there that's ever been out there before. We've never offered anything that incredible before. We hope to offer something that incredible again. But I don't think any of the dealers and manufacturers out there right now have offered anything like that, let alone a Mercedes-Benz compact SUV like the GLA.
So if we were to sum up everything that's sort of happened in the last month or two to lead up, I know when we spoke to Perry last time, actually in the beginning, in March, for the first video interview for Canadian Auto Dealer, I know things weren't going so well, and then our second interview, they were going really well, and now, I mean, you've been acknowledged for your performance. So if we were to sum it up, it goes to the investment into your facility, your new facility, the strategizing, the brainstorming sessions that you've had with your team every single day, online investment. Is there anything else I'm missing?
I think the most important aspect of this is all of those things that you just mentioned, they lead up to one thing, and it's just being relevant to the market that you're in. And we were always relevant to our market. And during that time, during the pandemic, we didn't just operate within the guidelines. We went above and beyond. Perry was amazing through that. I mean, there were several things that measures that Perry brought in that you've discussed in the past, on other broadcasts that Perry has done, that he brought in that really, really helped us with everything. We also recognized really, really quickly that if people were going to be working from home, it was going to be the expectation for a lot of our staff members to be the same way. So particularly any of the salespeople. So for the salespeople that chose to hang in there during that time, they did actually work from home as well. And because people were already accustomed to delivering a service from their home for what they did on their day-to-day, it wasn't a stranger unusual for them to be dealing with a salesperson in their home. And we were able to do most of the transactions digitally online through photos and videos. And we were already doing that quite a bit through our online sales to begin with. So the adaptation it wasn't a far stretch to go to what this was at that next level. But the best part about that is that we were being socially responsible to the pandemic and the times that we were in, because nobody needed to be basically at the dealership every single day, interacting with one another when they should have been social distancing. We were being socially responsible and sensitive to what was going on out there, and but while still being able to offer incredible results like what we achieved.
One thing too is we set up our salespeople who didn't have computers with laptops and all the tools they would need to operate a home office when they weren't really set up with a home office. So we made the investment into the facility, then we made the investment into the process, made the investment into the equipment so that they could operate in an effective way through COVID. And then we also took this opportunity, and not all those cars were fresh into plastic. I don't want to make it sound that it was that easy. It wasn't. Some of these cars the next batch of cars wasn't in the plastic, and then the next batch of cars we bought out of Vancouver were in rough shape. Those Vancouver cars were in a lot more challenging condition, but we made sure that we can maintain and sustain the experience for the customers from the brand new one with 300 kilometers that had been sitting in the field for 6 months to the one that just got off the road in Vancouver a month ago that needed a lot of care and attention. Like our wheel repair guys, I don't know how many thousands of wheels they did, but probably every car needed wheel repair. So it was just cosmetic, but it was just a matter of taking a vehicle that was in pristine condition, delivering it, and then the ones that weren't in pristine condition, they were still relatively new, 2019, 2020 or 2020s, where they had to be improved upon to the point where they met that criteria for the certified pre-owned process. So it was a lot of work along the way, but that's what we did in every department. We just looked at where are we at, where can we be, what will it take to get there, how are we going to accomplish this? So whether it was our service process, we took it to the T. Our parts process, took it to the T. And all of our team members were doing multitasking, still are. We haven't been able to bring everybody back yet because of social distancing. And also the business really hasn't gotten back to the levels it was at before, but we've come so far with the people we have. We've actually had exceptional performance everywhere. But it's just, like Mazen's saying, it's just focusing in on management, working as a strong team, trying to get better, having daily discussions, meetings when needed. Now we're not meeting every day. During the Corona crisis, I want to tell you, it was such a changing situation. Every day, literally, we would sit down and say, what are we going to do? Are we going to be open tomorrow? A good thing that happened in Alberta was we were declared an essential service. As an essential service, we knew that nobody was going to pull the rug out from under us. So then we knew, okay, now that we know that, how are we going to operate? Where some of the dealers in Canada couldn't do that because they got shut down by the government. Whereas we didn't have that. We had a great provincial government that stood behind business and said, as long as you can do it safely, we'll leave you alone. But we made sure that whenever there was a level of requirement, we went 2 steps above that. Whereas even today, some dealerships haven't even gone to the first step, which is their fault because our customers know when they walk in, we are going to be treating them in a very safe manner. We had our safe sales and safe service protocols, which I've shared with you already, so that Mazen and his team could tell the customer, look, before you come in to look at this car, and I went through all the COVID questionnaires, and we had gloves and masks, we had everything we needed. And that made a safe work environment through COVID, which the smart business operators, the smart dealers were doing that so that people were happy and comfortable coming in and doing business. And a lot of the success was based on these car-to-goes, but we still attained the sale of our non-car-to-go product as well. So which was really remarkable, because even as we called back some of the salespeople and they hadn't had the opportunity to sell from the car-to-go pipeline, they were still able to sell cars off the lot that weren't car-to-go because they came in sort of after the wave, and they still had success. And we have a good success story again for the month of June, and by that time, majority of the car-to-goes are pretty much gone, but we're still having a very good month in the month of June, which it makes me happy. It means that all the protocols we've done, all the communication we've had with clients, all the messages we've sent out about how we are a safe, reliable, and responsible place to do business, we're seeing the benefit of that. And that was one of the discussions we had, was if somebody goes into the marketplace and they go to 2 or 3 dealers, or they call dealers, and we're the dealer that is really going, okay, we're going to have some protocol questions, we're going to have to screen you before you come in, we got to make sure you have a safe environment. And the other guy would just say, well, just come on down anytime. Well, what are they doing to make it a safe place for me to be? Whereas Mazen was extremely on point, especially since he's got family in California, and that they were going through a bad situation. He was being probably the oversensitive, and I was being the over rational. And Stephen and Justin sort of came in the mix to sort of blend it all through. And the 4 of us as a team were, I would say, unstoppable. We found a way to break through and achieve success when other people were just running for cover. And I think that's the big message out there. we just level heads prevailed.